Welcome everybody to the Great People interview series. And today I have the enormous pleasure of being with Ruby Raut. She is an amazing person. She's doing some really, really impressive work around period poverty. But Ruby, welcome.
Thank you very much, Guy. Really honored to be here and share my stories.
Wonderful. Ruby, we'll get straight into it. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, what you do, what your role is, and so forth?
Yes, so I am a Nepali entrepreneur based here in the UK. I have a company called WUKA. We are a period health brand, next gen period health brand. And we do anything around periods, basically. We talk about periods unapologetically. We sell period products such as period underwear, all sustainable, all reusable.
Wow.
We do supplement, we do swimwear, you name it, and we've got it. So we are a period health brand in general.
Wow. And WUKA, is that correct?
WUKA.
And what does that stand for?
So WUKA stands for Wake Up Kick Ass.
What
So
are-
often the periods have got such a negative connotation. Whenever somebody says like they're on the period, it's always like either pain or like social stigma, taboos around it. And we wanted to give period a little bit more positive affirmation to it, because this is the reason why human being exists. So why are we always talking with shame around it? So that's why Wake Up Kick Ass.
What a wonderful name. I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
So thank you. So tell me a little bit more about WUKA. Tell me about what the audience you're trying to address. Tell me about the issues you're trying to help resolve. And what does that look like for you?
So I will have to, I think, maybe tell you a little bit of background as to why I started in the very beginning. So I grew up in Nepal, as I said, moved here when I was 20 years old. My first period was very different to anybody here in the UK. First period at the age of 12, my mum told me that I can't stay at home because I can't be seen by my father. So she hands me this homemade sari cut into small pieces and tells me that these are my menstrual product and I will have to go and stay at my aunt's house. In Nepal, we have got this tradition called chopadi, where girls and women are banished for bleeding. In Western part, girls are often sent outside of the house to either cowshed or menstrual hut or somebody else's house. When I was growing up, I was sent to my aunt's house, who was like 3 doors down next. And in the beginning, I thought like, okay, I'm going to my cousin's house. I've got 2 cousins, similar age as me. Was quite excited about like, okay, I'm going to spend like 7 days without going to school. When you are a 12-year-old, you just think about like skipping school in any way that you can. The reality was very much you are in a room, the bed on the floor, couple plates separated, and nobody comes near you. And often food are passed on the floor. So that was my first experience. And I was like, whoa, this is like, you're almost treating me like I'm a prisoner or I'm a very untouchable person, And, but I think that was my beginning. The worst part started when I started going to school, because the school did not have a proper toilet. We didn't have changing facilities. We didn't have running water. So all of that accumulated to actually not wanting you to go to school anymore whenever you're on your period. And that's literally what pretty much all the girls did, was like, we stopped coming to school. And period product wise, whatever I was using was very sustainable. And whatever I used, my sister used, my mother used, like it's a rag that is washable, dries very quickly. But what happens is like it moves and shifts quite a lot. So when you play game and when you play sports and those kind of things, those are the time you're like, okay, I can't do this. So they were quite uncomfortable moments. And since very young, I used to always think about like, okay, how can I make this better? And I started like putting a safety pin on the front and back of the pad and stitching it into my underwear. But obviously they're quite dangerous thing to do. Then started wearing like multi-layer underwear, slack shorts underneath, just so that it would stay in place. And when I moved to UK, and then I was absolutely blown away. My God, like there were so many period product in the supermarket shelf. I mean, entire aisle is dedicated to period product, right? So very much the first few years was just trying everything on the shelf and seeing so much choices. And I was like, I felt very lucky at that time, like to be able to do that. And And it was graduation when I realized that I did environmental science, came out of university, and to see the world actually completely differently. And till date, and like I'm quite like a sustainable freak. I really care about like the product I buy and I use in my body and my face, and like all this kind of thing. So when I saw there was nothing reusable in the shelf, I thought I'll take the matter in my own hands and create WUKA.
Wonderful. And so you specifically target women in sports?
We don't actually.
No.
We target anybody who starts their periods all the way to who finishes the period. So your 9-year-old all the way to 90-year-old. I've got my grandmother-in-law who uses our underwear for incontinence. So it's for anybody who needs it more than anything else. So yeah, we've got teen audience quite a lot. We talk quite a lot in sports because what we've identified is like school and sports are quite related, and we started seeing this girls dropping out of sports, or especially PE classes, once they start periods. So we started really going and having conversation in those area. And currently we have got this campaign called Tackle Anything, and this also means like tackle any stigma, tackle any taboos, tackle any biases. And basically the project is running from the beginning of this year till the end of this year, and we want to support 6,000 grassroots sports team, because what we started seeing was that 1 in 2 girls dropping out of sports because of the period. So can we do something to help them reduce it? A, starting the conversation, but B, also by provision of the product to those clubs.
Wow. I mean, it's bad enough, obviously, culturally, in many countries that women, girls drop out of sport anyway as they go through puberty. And I can imagine that, putting on top of that periods, it's another layer of discomfort and uncertainty and just, risk.
Exactly. So, and I think, we are actually trying to work in the UK because period poverty became such a huge issue. I think it was 2018 when Plan International did this huge study around like 1 in 14 girls actually experience period poverty here in the UK, right? Like, and for somebody like me who came from Nepal to come and look at it, it's like, what, period poverty exists here? This was like such a bizarre thing. But then when you start going to school, when you start listening to the girls, and still, I find it like quite shocking that family don't have to think between putting food on the table versus providing period product, and just shows like the current status of like how people are living in here. It's very shocking. And period poverty does not always mean like not having period product, right? Not having access to washing facilities, changing facilities. People might displace from their homes and not have like, right place, right product to use, those kind of thing as well. So I think all of that comes into consideration. Whenever I go to school these days, I hear quite a lot about schools are not allowing kids to go to the toilet during the school sessions and all this kind of thing. And it's just like, what if somebody's on their period and like are leaking through, and so I think all of those kind of thing conversation needs to come out, because it's not just the provision of the product, it's other things surrounding it as well.
And it's interesting that we're seeing a lot of movement in things like menopause, and I was just noticing the other day with my fiance that period adverts for period products are no longer just giving the sort of blue water. They're actually red, which is it feels like culturally, socially, this is becoming a much easier topic to talk about.
Oh, absolutely. We did this TV campaign. So a couple of years back, we won a carbon footprint fund from Sky TV. This was like a £2 million fund. Wow. The number one got the £1 million, and the rest 4 got like £250,000 each. And we were one of those 250,000 winner. And in our ad, we purposefully actually added like the red liquid scene, and we got, I think, around 395 letters complain. And then the whole Advertising Standard Authority actually had to come and do the whole checks with us. But then obviously everything was validated. So it just, I think systemically what you're looking at it is like people who are in their 60s, 70s, 80s, right, in 80-year-old kind of age category, they never grew up talking about periods. So this is quite a bit of a shock for them. Whereas if you're talking to 20, 30 years old right now, they're like so used to it. And I think it's that generation education gap between them.
And do you think, that's had an adverse effect on women of and men? I mean, my father wouldn't dream about talking about periods, even though he was a single parent looking after a daughter and a son. So, I still remember those awkward conversations when my sister started having periods. My auntie got involved. It was all, but that's changed dramatically now.
Oh, absolutely. We do have quite a lot of dads come in and writing to us as well these days. And then it's just such a
Wow.
nice feeling to see. We sell WUKA in Nepal as well. And my sister often says it's often the men who comes and knock at the door at the shop saying oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to bring my wife next time when I come around kind of way. So I think men are easing into this conversation and then social media really helps in raising awareness. And I think since the boom in last 6-7 years of Instagram and TikTok, I think people are more vocal and it's more open conversation, and definitely media helps, right? And I think for menopause, what happens is you have women at certain age become much more confident, and we talk about it, and now it's all the celebrities are talking about it of that kind of age. I think we need something like that for teens as well.
Right.
I feel like the teens are missing out because we are just getting 45 minutes of education in the very beginning of your puberty about periods and hormones. Actually, hormones, you don't even talk about it. So you will go up all the way to 30, being a 30-year-old, to understanding your body and how it works and all this kind of thing. I think that needs to shift. We need some advocacy for teens. And that's pretty much what we are doing is we don't want any more teens to turn 30 and understand why they feel the way they feel and what's hormone and how their body works, those kind of things.
Well, it's interesting. I've just written a book around menopause and how men and organizations can help women going through that.
Oh, wow.
And what's fascinating is that young women, as you say, aren't recognizing that menopause, the cessation of periods, has such an enormous impact on or can have such an enormous impact on their lives.
Yeah.
And there's a real lack of education about the normal natural cycle of female bodies. It's quite scary.
Yeah, it's like this, isn't it? You get 45 minutes for your half of your life of what's going to happen, and then you get no education for what the next half of your life is going to be like. So, but we are seeing more and more women in their 40s or even late 30s, like myself, are getting aware about okay, we're going to hit menopause. This is how we're going to work our body towards it, or eat healthy, and so that we have got better informed knowledge than I think our mom had before. So I think my mom didn't even know what menopause was and didn't even care, or just did not know and did not know how to react to it. And I think so. Yeah.
So coming back to WUKA, you must take enormous pride in the impact that you have on not only young women but also women in general. I mean, what sort of feedback do you get? What sort of how does that make you feel?
It's when I started the business, I very much wanted a sustainable brand, and then we on the first 3 years was just about whatever we talk about, it has to be around sustainability. And that's what the community we went after, people who are absolutely obsessed with it and really wanted to make a difference in the community and stuff. And I think down the line, what we realized was we were solving a much bigger problem than sustainability.
Okay.
It was around women's health.
Wow.
So our language have just changed now, and people stay with us for sustainability, but they come to us for the pain points. Most of our customers who come to us come for heavy bleeding. And now and then I do get I get quite a lot of emails actually. And sometimes some emails actually touch you so much that it just makes you reflect on what you're doing is making such an impact. And I think one email that I received was like this, from this woman who said that for 20 years she had pretty much leaked every month when she was on her period, and she goes like, 2 years using WUKA, and I'm coming after 2 years because I really wanted to tell you that, I've been using for it, and then no leaks in bed, and I cannot thank you. And it just makes you like, whoa, like. And for me, the other moment that was like such an incredible, empowering was, I was doing this Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business program, and one of the facilitator who was running the program, at the end day of our whole course, we were having dinner together, and in front of like the whole stage, she stood up over there and she told this incredible story of her miscarriage. And she goes to me like, where's Ruby? I want to say thank you to Ruby, because during her miscarriage, there was one thing that brought comfort, was her underwear. And she talked about that, and I was like, oh my God, that was like such an emotional thing. So I think those are the moments that makes you really realize that what you've created actually has got such an impact on people's life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Ruby, it's lovely. Thank you. What advice would you give young woman? But what advice would you give generally for women, that are suffering, that are struggling to manage their periods, and in particular for young sportswomen who are trying to work through all of those potential issues that might come with playing sport at any sort of serious level, and periods.
One thing I've learned is you have to be brave. And I think this is something we have to teach young girls since growing up, is like, to be brave. And brave comes in a different kind of scenario. Brave to speak up, brave to go and do things people haven't done before. And I think this is the reason why I've come where I've come, is like, I've never listened to like negative thoughts or somebody saying me that I can't do. And I think that is the attitude we need to bring on every young people who are growing up, is like, be brave. And then it's okay to fail sometimes, or it's okay if people don't listen to you, or if it's okay if your idea is not right, and all this kind of thing. But at least you know that you have tried it. And I think that is like, and that goes into sports, that goes into starting a business, that goes to being listened by a doctor if you're going through like a lot of problems and stuff as well, right? Like, but you have to be brave to speak up. And I think that if I could, like, if I have kids, and I would definitely teach them from very young to be brave and be resilient. And I think that's the difference between, like, if you look at any entrepreneurs, like, they are very resilient and stuff. So yeah, that would be my message.
And it's a great entree to the sort of next question, which is, you've suggested that you've been running this business for nearly 20 years.
Feels like it, right? But 8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
But you've certainly been outside of schooling and university for a little bit longer than that. What are some of the challenges? Because you're a B Corp as well, so that brings with it, for those who don't know, and I'm sure Ruby, you'll explain it even better than I will, but B Corp puts certain considerations around how you use your funds, the ethical, charitable aspects of the business. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing?
So challenges, I think since day one up until now, has been around awareness. It's funny, like, I chose such a very hard category in a way that people don't want to talk about periods. Hard category that I actually brought completely new product that never existed before. Wow. And the hard category about that, it's a habit change category. Mm-hmm. Now, you put all of those three together, it's one of the most challenging thing that you could do. Innovation, if you are just like upgrading or making it better, versus like completely disruption and also teaching how to use it, but people don't want to talk about it. Like, I think that becomes that was I think one of the most, and still now one of the biggest challenge for us is like, we don't get always like social creator to talk about underwear. They don't want to wear it, or they can't show it, and exactly how we want people to feel and look like, those kind of things. And I think that all becomes a bit of a challenge. I had a conversation just 2 days ago with a very young entrepreneur who just about to launch her business, and one of the things I said was like, start the business first by making money before thinking about doing too many charitable like things, because at the end of the day, it's having a cash in the business will make or break a business, right? So if you want to even run a sustainable business, and yes, people want to be a B Corp on the first year and the second year and do this kind of thing, you got to get your product right first. You got to find your customer whose pain point that you're addressing first, right? And once you know and you can validate it that yes, you found the audience and you found the customer and they are the right customer, then you start thinking about like, okay, how do I do other things better? Not saying that from the fundamental you have to do things right, but those B Corp, any other logos that you put it in are very much icing on the cake. At the end of the day, if the product works, people like it, ethically, if you are sound, I think that's the best place that you can start a business. And then B Corps are great for as you grow into a big business, because bigness comes with like a lot of complexity, and it's there to regulate you and make you think back in terms of like, are you doing the right thing? Are you doing the right checks? Are you putting everything in place? So we got our B Corp 2023, so quite late. It takes at least a year and a half even just to get the certification and stuff as well. But prior to that, we did carbon footprint analysis. So we did the LCA on the period underwear, but we also did the LCA on tampons and pads. And we found out that period pads have got 5 times less carbon footprint than pads and tampons. So for us, this was a validation to our customer that the switch that you are making is actually not just making for your health, but for the planet as well. Yeah. And that really helped us in terms of getting B Corp as well.
And you've been growing. What sort of difficulties has that brought you?
We've been growing since, so we are a bootstrap business, which means that we haven't taken any funding. I did a Kickstarter campaign in 2017. In 2018, we started trading. Haven't taken any loan from anybody yet. Organically growth. Last year, we grew compared to the year before around 42%. We've done total revenue of like nearly 20 to 23 million so far. So yeah, I'm very proud of like everything.
You should be.
Yeah, without any investors, anybody nagging you what to do, what not to do, like that's, I think, something that I've learned over the line is like, yes, it's nice to get an investment and all this kind of thing, but you are also reporting to somebody else. But now we get to do things the way we want and we like, and yeah.
Wonderful. What does the future hold?
So since the very beginning, I wanted to be a household brand, like very much. Like I often give an example of Colgate and like synonyms for it, and I want period underwear, WUKA, to be one of those. WUKA is period underwear kind of way. So being in retail, I think so. Like over the last 2 years, we've launched in Boots and Tesco, and that has been an incredible journey for us, because I think A, credibility for a brand that only existed online, but B, people are having to see in real life how the underwear looks and feels like as well in store. And I think, and being in the same aisle where I first began and I saw nothing, to go back and see that, oh, actually what you have created is there. I think that's like such a win, big win for us.
Wow. And what's your personal vision or goal for life?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I want to be like a successful entrepreneur and start investing in other female-founded business. I really very much think that one way to lift women is investing in women. And if there's a way that I could invest back into the women business and all this kind of thing, I think that would be a dream. I also would love to open a school. I say this, but there are plenty of school, and I would love to support them. And what I want to teach kids is around financial resilience. And I think often, and definitely it has been much more better now than previous, but I want women to understand money and how money works and how money, I think that's one of the reason like why you fall slightly behind is like that financial education is slightly, yeah, teach maths. I think every girl should learn to do maths. And maths is fun and maths is great, and yeah.
Yeah, and interesting. I think it's just not women who are told. I think people generally in school are not told a lot about the maths that actually makes a difference to them.
Yes, yeah.
So I totally understand that.
Yeah, I feel sorry for like when kids graduate and they can't do the basic
Mm.
fractions and discounts and all this kind of thing, and I'm like, okay, you got to go and study that first. Because when you're an entrepreneur, I think those are the things I learned is like you got to know your numbers and you got to know how to cut numbers and all this kind of thing. So yeah.
Wonderful. Ruby, it's been wonderful. Any last thoughts or advice for entrepreneurs, young, just starting out?
Be lean, I would say, quite a lot of and I'll give you the example of the same person that I spoke recently because it's just fresh in my mind. She's starting with I think 192 SKUs of product, and I was like, oh, okay, that means like a lot of inventory, a lot of, and what I did in the very first 2 years was like I had only one product, one color, and many sizes. I think it was like 11 sizes at that time. I felt like it was a lot of sizes anyway. But for 2 years, all I did was just that.
Yeah.
And I think it just gave me that focus, like all I'm talking about is one product and not diversifying any messages or anything like that. But also then I had enough data from customer to understand that actually they love the product and all I can do is just tweak the design and then they will love it. And I think being lean is something that I would tell everybody. Do not, just because two people say I need a different color does not mean that your whole customer database needed, So.
Wonderful. Ruby, it's been a real pleasure, real honor to talk to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I wish you nothing but the very best for the future.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the conversation. And yeah, I'm here open if anybody would like to contact me as well. They can find me on Instagram or website. Just drop me a line at hello@wuka.co.uk.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ruby.
Thanks.